Hi, Bob. Welcome. Join us at the first edition YPO at Home, the Concerto competition winner.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Tong, and usually it's at Saunders, but now we're virtual. So we do what we can to help these wonderful young kids.
Absolutely. I think the audience will be thrilled that even though we cannot provide, give live concerts at Saunders, but use this new technology, we can actually bring music to your living room or your house.
Well, that's the positive part. Obviously, the kids are missing an opportunity to perform live with orchestra, but nonetheless, they will get this opportunity to display their talents, and that counts for quite a bit too.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful opportunity. And this is your, how many years that you've been working with the Yonkers Philharmonic as a host for the Concerto competition winner?
However long it's been around, I just don't remember anymore. Really, it goes way, way back. I guess Josephine Caruso first contacted me. I may even have been a judge at one of the very early ones. And then I felt it wasn't really right for me to be involved in that double capacity. But whatever it is, we've had all sorts of players and singers as well. And it's been wonderful to see the young talents emerging. And remember, we're talking locally. This is Westchester. So it's a very proud point for us who live here that there is a blossoming of talent within our own neighborhood, as it were. So it's great to know that the kids are getting this opportunity, and even better to know that they are emerging themselves as wonderful young and presumably eventually professional musicians.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just did like a cheat sheet to look at it. This is our 42nd annual Concerto competition concerts. It's just amazing that it, has been around and be part of this tradition of the Yonkers Philharmonic. So like you mentioned, there are voice students, there are like so many different varieties winners. So shall we just jump into the winners?
There was only one vocalist among the laureates of the Yonkers Philharmonic competition. And Tong, it's an interesting question. How do you judge a singer when everybody else is an instrumentalist? How do you equate them?
That's a very good question, Bob. In general, it's really because especially for singers, they're at a very early age. So in a way, the voice still growing, and so for me at least, for young singers, stage presentation and how comfortable they're with their voice, and then it's just it's like Bernstein says, like you can smell a conductor. So kind of the same way, once they walk on stage, I can see this one is going to be fantastic.
Well, that's the experience that you have as a musician of great gifts. So the singer we have is Anahita Subramanya, and she is going to sing Handel. Do you know about her background, where she studies?
Yeah, so she is born and raised in Pleasantville, New York, and currently she's enrolled in the Pleasantville High School.
Well, that's pretty close. We're in Ossining, so pretty
neighbors. Yeah, and her voice teacher is Gina Smith, whom Anahita has worked with for many years. In addition to the classical voice training, she sings traditional Indian songs. And on top of that, she also plays cello in her high school orchestra.
Wow.
So the repertoire you're going to hear today is by Handel's opera, Julius Caesar. And the piece, I think it's very appropriate for the time being, for some of you, Comfort My Sorrow.
Tong, I have a question for you. We talked before that the young musicians that we are featuring rarely, if ever, get to perform with orchestra. Over the last few years, when you have conducted for these players, how have they been? How have they reacted? How well have they been able to accommodate to the kind of new circumstances?
Yeah, it's a very interesting journey because some of them you can tell from their music background experience because many of the winners they actually play in the orchestra back in high school or pre-college, so they actually have a great sense of being a soloist, aware of like different instruments on stage with them. But some of the students are like, I mean, to be honest, including myself, because piano is my background. I mean, I grew up in the orchestra sitting next to my dad, but playing with an orchestra is a totally different concept. So you can see some of the students, if they did not play in the band or orchestra, that kind of ensemble set, really throw them off. They're just on their own. It's an isolated little circle, like practice room mode.
Well, Daniel Choi certainly must have grown up in an orchestra. Oboists don't get to play too many solos, especially
Yes.
at an early point. I asked Daniel about the reeds and whether he makes reeds on his own yet, and he is starting to, although he uses his teachers. That's a whole big, I don't know, a whole big problem for oboists. Many of them spend their life, shaving these reeds until they get them right. But obviously, Daniel's on his way. And musically, you found him quite exceptional as well, I gather.
Oh, absolutely. Especially his audition piece, which I will keep as a secret again. But the second movement, the vibrato, it was just heavenly. It just brought tears to like my personally like it's he was so musical in a way. It's just I even asked him like, Daniel, why would you like to be an oboist? And he was like, I think music is the way that I can communicate with people. And then he stopped talking. And then once he played, just the words, can describe everything. His emotion, his you will see from him is a pretty poker face kid to his age. I mean,
but that's what I mean when somebody has the passion for the particular sound of his instrument, it overrides everything else. Yes, he may play another instrument, but this is the one that gives him the greatest joy. And as a result, that communicates to us and it gives us the greatest joy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his instrument. They really bonded together. Daniel, I think he's been playing oboe for only 4 years and currently study at Riverdale Country School. And he loves math, swim, and read as hobbies. So that's things he likes to do when he's not playing oboe.
So as Tong said, we're going to keep Daniel Choi's repertoire next season with the Yonkers Philharmonic secret for the time being. But not secret is what we're going to hear now. And it's with a string ensemble, so we get at least the flavoring of it. This is the Cimarosa Oboe Concerto. let's proceed to meet Andreas Welch. And here again, a pianist of, I assume, great gifts because he's doing a Brahms piano concerto. That's true?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
right?
With his age, his maturity towards like Brahms concerto was just wow to judge on the day, like actually 2 days of our competition. Can't
But
wait to.
yeah, that's what's so unusual that he would choose, a youngster would choose that kind of a powerhouse concerto. It's not a technical matter, but it's understanding the emotional depth of the piece. So that's really quite special.
Yeah, I think it can give some credits to Andreas' teacher, like a famous one that actually a familiar name for the Yonkers audience, Miyoko Lotto. So actually on the video you will see Andreas' teacher's husband, Mr. Lotto, is on the second piano part, accompany our young concerto competition winner.
Okay, very good. I think that's one thing it's important to mention. Today, we're going to hear the concerto with second piano, but next season, we'll hear it as properly done with orchestra, with your Yonkers Philharmonic.
Finger crossed, really hope so.
Well, obviously, nobody can predict with 100%, but the idea is, I've always felt that almost the most important element of your competition. After all, there are zillions of piano auditions and competitions all around. But it's not just a matter of getting some cash, which is nice. And it's not just a matter of getting the recognition, which is important, but it's a matter of actually performing with an outstanding orchestra. This doesn't happen to high schoolers. How are they going to get to perform with an orchestra? It just doesn't happen. They'll win a competition and they'll play a solo someplace.
Yeah, but absolutely. It's a great opportunity for the students. And we tend to do, actually, there's something I'm very proud of, like the orchestra, they're being patient with the soloist. And like Bob, like many of the young soloists, you go to win a competition. I mean, even if you get a chance to work with the orchestra, maybe you will have 1 or 2 rehearsals. That's it. But here at the Yonkers Philharmonic, we are having the students come and join the orchestra from the first day of our rehearsals. So they will get like as many opportunities to work with the orchestra, like a chamber group, as possible. So that was something myself very proud of, and I'm so glad our orchestra.
It's a wonderful concept as well, because the pianist who is just studying this thing in his studio doesn't know that the second oboe comes in over here and that he has to step back because now the bassoon is doing something.
Exactly.
It's important, and most young pianists don't have that opportunity to work from a full score. So the idea of rehearsing with the orchestra and knowing exactly which instrument is coming in when is vital. So all of those things make it very, well, just unique and vitally important to the development of these young players.
So well said, Bob. So shall we listen to some Brahms with our audience?
Absolutely. And especially the first movement of the D minor. You can't go wrong with that.
Absolutely. Enjoy Brahms' first piano concerto, first movement.
now we're going to meet Susanna Bobs, who allegedly is a violinist. At least she won the competition as a violinist, but she also plays piano and she plays viola. And I understand that one of her siblings won first place in the Yonkers competition last year. Is that really right, Tong? Is that?
Yes, actually, Susanna's twin sister, Bethany, many of you might remember, our first prize winner played the cello concerto with us, was the first prize winner.
Well, that's kind of astonishing. She comes from a musical family, clearly.
Yeah, and she's the youngest of 8, and I think all of them play music at home. A pianist, like Bob mentioned, a violinist, a violist, and she's an honor student at her high school. And she and her sister, Bethany, recently actually put a charity fundraising concert that raised $2,000 for the artists affected by the virus. So not only like great as a musician, but it's just such a great heart as a young musician.
It is wonderful to discover that many young players have that sense of responsibility. It starts early, obviously, when it's there in the first place. But the idea of already trying to give back to the community that allowed them to flourish as musicians, and to do that kind of thing is just wonderfully gratifying to know that these are not only players, not only people who have practiced in the studio, but are genuine people who are, must be wonderful to know. They should have a little family orchestra, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I won't be surprised they have one. But we're just so lucky to have them, keep coming back and play music with us. It's such a treat.
So I gather that Susanna is going to play for us the third movement of the third concerto of Saint-Saëns, right?
Yes, please enjoy.
And her mom is playing the piano part, is that right?
Yes, that's right. On the second piano part, you will see her mom sitting.
Well, I tell you, it's all in the family. And now we have it here with this Yonkers Philharmonic special.
Yes, from the Bass family.
Let's meet our first prize winner. And Isaac Blackburn, I understand, is not only a fine pianist, but he plays chess and he's a budding composer as well. So all encompassing in various aspects of music. But at the moment, Tong, we want to know about his pianism. So you heard him already at the auditions?
Yes, absolutely. Isaac was very, like the moment he sits down, is a very shy and quiet boy. And the moment he sits down, the music just oozing out of through his fingers, his body. We're all the judges, including myself, we were so impressed with his music making. I'm gonna keep the repertoire as a secret, so you have to come to us next year at Saunders if the whole COVID thing calms down to hear which piece he's going to play. Although some background for Isaac, he's grown up in Pelham, Westchester, so not too far away from Yonkers. Yeah, and he's currently enrolled in Pelham Memorial High School. And his piano teacher is Matsumoto. So he had been working with her for many years. Like you mentioned, like Bob, he likes to play chess and the composition, and then he even studied viola and music theory at music school as well. It's just a talent of all perspectives.
See, that's what I mean. It's not just a person who has one talent. It's obviously a youngster who has ideas and works in many different ways. It's somebody who is enthralled by the creative process. So whether he's playing chess or he's playing Mozart, it's a version of the same thing.
Yes, exactly. So today, Isaac, you're going to hear, of course, a recording version of his piece. It's Piano Fantasy in C minor by Wolfgang Mozart.
Tong Chen, it has been a joy to join with you in saluting the terrific young winners of the Yonkers Philharmonic competition. And I guess you must be very proud of what you and the orchestra have done in support of music in the county. You should be anyway.
Thank you so much. It is, like it is such a pleasure and honor to have you with the Yonkers Philharmonic for so many years. You share your passion and then just encouraging all the concerto competition winners, and of course, like the Yonkers Philharmonic Orchestra family. You are part of the family of us. It's just a musician and myself. We were always very excited to have you, with us. You just bring so much joy to us, to the community, and of course to the concerto competition winners. So, like you said, like the talents, it's just all over the place, and we're so glad that they are keeping music alive, because this is going to be the future generation of all the solos that we're seeing right now. And then I'm so glad being part of this organization, and then we're so glad to have you on board.
Well, I am certainly equally proud to be associated with you and to know that we're doing something to help the future of music. Yes, what you said is absolutely right. These young players, these are going to be the great artists of tomorrow. And if we don't support them now, we are cheating ourselves in the future. So I'm just very proud and pleased to be part of the event and wish you well as you go forward.
Same to you. And once again, on behalf of the rest of the Yonkers Philharmonic board and orchestra members, I really would send a lot of hugs and kisses to our audience on the other side of the platform. Thank you for tuning in for this first program, YPO at Home. And we hope you enjoy this program. And we're here for you, even though more than 6 feet away from you. And then we'll have more upcoming YPO at Home to stay close to you and bring live music, live per se, like to your living room and to your families. Please stay well and take very good care of yourself and your families. Bye.
So long, everybody.